If you're stuck, if you're in survival mode, if you hate your life, or you're bored, or you feel like you're boring or life is boring, feel like you need to reinvent yourself because life isn't what you want it to be, well, I'm going to show you how I do it, covering these three main areas and breaking it down for you into bite-sized sections so you know exactly what you need to do in order to be able to move to that state of more satisfaction, less stress, more energy, and doing far more of what you love in life. So right now you're probably finding yourself in the survival stage, and that is a place that is never fun to be in. I have been there many times myself, and you feel like you are just keeping your head above the water, but the life is just not very fun. It's stressful. It is exhausting, and every day gets harder and harder. But it doesn't need to stay that way. You can actually move from the survival place to a much stronger place very quickly. So what we want to do is we want to work on this section here first. So we're going to take you from low energy and high stress to vibrant health and energy. All right, and we call this the revive phase. Now, in the revive phase, what we want to first focus on is your physical health. Why do we focus on physical first? Because if you change things in your physicality, you can change everything else that comes beyond that. So I'm going to break this down into 9 different sections, and your physical health is going to impact and improve every one of those sections. Now, as we go and we work through it, each of those sections will then impact everything else as well until you get to the final one, which is just a byproduct of all of the things that we've worked on. And that's why it's so important to work on it in this order, because if you start here, you get the most bang for your buck. So minimal effective dose, starting with your physical health, you are always going to improve every other area of your life far faster than if you just started working on somewhere else. So your baseline physical health, where are you at with that? That part I can't answer, but you already know. Are you doing exercise? Any exercise? And are you doing it on a regular basis? If not, if your body is not moving, that means everything inside of it is stagnant, and your body is filled with all these different fluids, these different systems that need to be pumped. And you're pumping these systems through moving your body. So just moving your body through different exercise will help to pump the different fluids around. What fluids or systems are we talking about? Your blood, your circulatory system, which pumps not only blood, but oxygen. Not only oxygen, but nutrients. Everything gets transported through your circulatory system to supply the body with what it needs. So it's very important that that system gets moving. You've got the lungs, which are a pump in and of itself. So your heart does one sort of pumping, your lungs do another sort of pumping. Both systems work together to be able to move blood and oxygen in there. So you need to get this pump working through your oxygen system, and the better that works, the more effective that works, or efficiently that works, the better you're going to be able to perform with everything. The difference with that, and you may see this, is walking upstairs and getting out of breath. Sure, that's an easy one. What about the fact that you might be out of breath just going for a walk around the block or something? That shouldn't happen, but it does happen sometimes. Why? Because your toxic system gets impacted, as in if you have too many toxic byproducts in your system, if it's all built up and your liver can't handle that, then that gets pumped outside into the different fat cells to be able to keep it away from your vital organs. But there's still going to be a certain amount of that just floating around in your bloodstream as well. If that's floating around in your bloodstream, that is going to take away from that oxygen capacity, and it's going to make you more tired and more out of breath. So the lymphatic system is another one we need to get pumping. The lymphatic system is just pumping toxins and stuff through your system so it can be processed and eliminated. If it's not being pumped through, then toxins build up in the lymphatic system and then they are more present in your body. You can't get rid of them. That's only going to slow you down as well. So these are your main things about exercise. Now, what about food? Are you putting quality food in your system, or are you putting whatever in your system because that's what's easiest? Excuse me. Now, I understand that at times food just gets too difficult, but because it's difficult does not mean that it is impossible to get to a good state. If you can get high quality meats and vegetables as a priority, that sets you apart. If you can eat one ingredient foods, that sets you apart. If you don't have a lot of time for cooking because you are so busy, I get it. Cook in bulk. That's what I do. I will cook 5 kilos of beef mince in the slow cooker starting in the morning, and it will be finished by the evening. It takes me about 20 minutes total, and I individually portion up those meat serves so they are sitting there ready to go so I don't have to think about it. The other great thing about your physical health is when you work on your physical health, often you are around other people. If you go for a walk, you can go for a walk with somebody else. If you want to go and train at the gym, you may be training with other people. If you want to go and play a social sport, generally that's going to be with other people. And you get these extra benefits with it, which is, like I said, social sport or being around other people. You get that socialization in your life. And that's really important because the more we are social, the more we can relax into who we are. And we realize that everyone is going through the same sort of things. So it becomes far easier. Now, your physical health goes far beyond just diet and exercise. We're looking at things like pain and injury management. We are looking at fat loss, muscle gain. We are looking at fitness for a particular sport or event, or even just your job. Pain management and injury management are interrelated. So if you have an injury, rehabilitating that injury so you can get back to doing more of what you want to do is highly important, but people get bogged down in that and they hate that side of it. I used to get really frustrated with it. Now, rehab is just part of training. Rehab is one of those things that's absolutely necessary, especially when you're my age. I'm 46, you get beyond 40, and it's mostly about trying to just keep your body going, keeping it out of pain or minimizing the pain, reducing the injuries or injury likeliness, and getting to that point where you can reverse those injuries so you are good, that you can go and work on more things again. So that's your basic foundation of the physical side of things. From there, we work on to your mental and emotional health. So your mental and emotional health is very much dictated by what you are doing on a daily basis. You will have regular thoughts that create regular behaviors and regular actions that result in a regular result. Right now, if you want to have something different in your life, you've got to do something different. If you want the same, keep doing the same thing. But if you are ready to change and you want something different, you've got to do something different. In order to do something different, you have to think differently. So what are the thoughts that you're having right now, and what are the thoughts that you want to have? Are you beating yourself up emotionally, telling yourself that you're not good enough, or life is too hard, or I can't do this, or I can't take this? Because that's one way to look at it, but the other side of it is there are already so many good things going on in your life that you may or may not realize because you are so focused on the negative. If you keep focusing on the negative, you're going to get more of the negative. So what if you start to focus on the gratitude side of things? What are you grateful for? What are you happy about in your life? There is always something to be happy about. Right now, I have not spent a lot of time outside today, but the sun is shining, the weather seems like it's pretty nice, and that alone gets me excited for today because I want to get out there and in amongst it. The thought of having time with my friends gets me excited. I'm so grateful for having friends that I can go and do fun stuff with to be able to do that. So I focus on that rather than the pain or whatever else may be going on at the time. you get more of what you focus on. So if you focus on the things that you're grateful for, you're going to get more of that. If you focus on those negative thoughts, you're going to get more of those negative thoughts and the things that come from those negative places. Now, it sounds way too easy. I get it. But the solution is also really, really, really easy, but it does take some regular work. Now, that is up to you. I've really already told you what it is. Like, you've got these negative thoughts going on in your brain. If you want to get past this, if you want to unblock this point, first and foremost, what you need to do is identify what those negative thoughts are, write them down, and address them. Question them. Is this true? Is this not true? If it is true, let me try and prove it, or let me prove against it. So for and against, present your argument. You may be able to get past it just like that, because a lot of these things, these negative loops that are stuck in your brain, are unconscious or subconscious, and they might not even be true anymore. They might be out of date and able to be moved past. So make sure you address what's going on with your mental and emotional health, and especially focus on that one thing. You get past that one thing, and the majority of the rest of it just gets easier and easier. Let's move on again, and now we're going to your financial health. Now, if you're in survival mode, you might be in survival financially as well. Get it, been there, been on government benefits as well. Know totally what it's like, and it is not a fun place to be in because you feel like you are constantly scrambling for it. So what are you going to do? Well, you've got to address your spending habits. You've got to address your earning habits, and at some stage you need to be able to think about what's going on in the future, because right now maybe you've got your money sorted, maybe you don't have your money sorted. Do you have your future sorted? Do you have a retirement plan? Do you have any investments? If you can plan this stuff out, even if you're not there yet, and even if it's not in a place where you are able to get there, if you have a plan in place, it means you know what you're working towards, you know where you're going, and now you just keep taking those little steps one at a time until you get closer and closer to it. Because financial health is not anywhere near as scary as you think it might be. Again, I have been in that place where I have had plenty of money and things doing really well. I've also been in that place where I've got no money left. When I lost my health, I lost everything. House, business, car, friends, social life, the lot. And then I've spent $250,000 trying to get it back, and the amount of money that I have lost along the way in terms of lost income and investments is in the millions. So I get it. No matter where you are, this can impact you. But if you have a plan for where you need to go, what you want to do with your life, and how you're going to get there, that'll get you across the line. And that's what I do with my clients. I work through that process. Where you at, where you want to be, how you're going to get there. Because once it's planned out, you just start working towards the plan, and you just keep taking it one day at a time, one step at a time. So let's move on to unsatisfied relationships, because what we want is to get to this point of incredible, fulfilling relationships where your friends, your family are your life, and they just give you so much more than you could possibly ask for. So we're going to start here with spiritual health. Now, your spiritual health is something you may just not pay any attention to, or it might be something that came into your life at some stage. Maybe it was at a young age you were introduced to some sort of religion or brought up in some religious beliefs. Maybe you have had some spiritual experiences in your life. Maybe you've done some of the spiritual practices that could include like meditation or breath work, etc., etc. Let's just take it back to its basics. Your spiritual health is your relationship to life in terms of everything. It is all connected in life. So, who are you? What are you here for? What is your purpose? What is the point of it all? These are all questions we've probably asked ourselves at some stage. And they can be big and difficult to get to. But what if we take it back to really simple places? What if you take your spiritual health like getting back to nature? Getting to know yourself, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you value, what you don't value, what you stand for, what you believe now, what you believe to be true. So my favorite thing with any of your spiritual health is to just start exploring the spiritual ideas that you might have, or the spiritual questions. Go on a quest, a spirit quest. Go and ask yourself these questions. Spend some time out in nature, going for a walk in the bush or by the beach, and just asking yourself some of these deep questions. What is this about? Spend the time with yourself and listen to your thoughts. Listen to what it says. And if you have to, write down some of those things so you can go further, and then go and do some research, and then go and discuss that with some more people, and then think about it some more, and come back and ask whatever the next question is, because spirituality runs in a loop where you constantly have questions, you need to find answers, and then you have more questions, and then you need to find answers. That's how it works. All right? Now let's move on to your inner circle. So here we're talking about your relationship with your close family and friends. These are the people you see on a regular basis, or these are the people that are the ones who are closest to you, know you best, the ones who you can call and rely on for whatever. Now, I understand that they're within this inner circle. There may be some issues. There might be some problems that have come up throughout the years, and a lot of them may be unresolved. If you can spend some time resolving those issues, life gets better. If you can spend some time nurturing these relationships, life gets better. These are the people that know you best, that you know best. So the more time that you can foster improving these relationships and getting better with this, everything improves. Now, it doesn't take much to reach out to these people, but we have this fear. Even though we know them so well, we still have this fear of rejection. We have this fear of them not wanting to talk to us, to have anything to do with us. Maybe you haven't spoken to someone for years because of some falling out or whatever. Get over it and get on with it. Try and repair that relationship, because if you do, you get an instant close friend, and all of a sudden life changes for the better. It doesn't take much to work through your relationships with these people, but it does take doing the work to be able to constantly feed the relationship. You have to feed the relationship in order for that to grow. If you don't feed it, it starves. There's no love. There's no connection. Nothing is there. So this phase we call the feel alive phase. Because for a while, in survival mode, you don't really feel alive. You don't feel like you're living. You're just going through the motions. You're just trying to get there. Totally spelt revive wrong. You want to feel alive, and the best way to feel alive is to get those relationships back with your inner circle, plus the relationship with yourself. And once you have these things in place, you're going to find it's much easier to get your relationships going with your community. The other side of community is communication. The better your communication skills, the better you're going to be able to relate to the people in your community. Because at this stage, when you are addressing your spiritual health, you may not even know who you are. You may not be comfortable with who you are. You may not own who you are. You might still be trying to be someone else, trying to be or live up to somebody else's expectations of you. When you can get clear on this and start living true to yourself, you'll find it's much easier for you to be true to your close family and friends, to reconnect with them, to show them who you are. If you want to get to this point where you are able to reconnect with your community, and look, I get a lot of people have social anxiety these days, and they find it really difficult to go out and connect with the community. You may want to engage, but you also have this fearful thing going on where you don't want the rejection, or you may not be confident with who you are anymore. If you can work on your communication skills, and the better they are, the easier it is for you to connect with your community. The easier it is to connect with your close family and friends. The easier it is to connect with yourself. Because you might hear some of the things that you're saying, see some of the actions that you're doing, hear feedback from how you are treating other people, good or bad, and that all feeds back to making this better. So if you can work on your communication skills, you will find it so much easier to get out in your community, meet new people, even if it's just saying hi, being friendly, feeling like you can connect, feeling like you're included, you're part of something. You walk down your local street and you see your neighbours and you don't mind saying hi to them because you're comfortable with who you are, you're comfortable with being able to say hi, and you realise that there is no real rejection going on. Some people are just busy. Some people have just got other things going on. If you can do these things and work on this, you will find that you have incredible relationships and they keep getting better and better. From where I'm at right now, I have so many friends and so many things to do, more invitations than I can keep up with. More invitations to do things than I have time to be able to do. What a problem to have, right? So let's move on to our next phase. This phase is the Thrive phase. If you've worked through these first 6 sections, you're going to start getting to this point where you are thriving in life. And the first place we look at is your job, your career, and your mission. If you love your job, that's great. If it gives you the money that you need, the enjoyment, all of those things that build up to you enjoying your day, great, keep going with it. If your job does not lead you to the career that you want to do, then that might be something to look at. Maybe it's a stepping stone. Maybe it's something you've just got to do to be able to build up some extra money. Maybe you've got to go work a job that's really easy in order for you to build back up your health and energy. Maybe you've just got to go and do a job just to keep getting by for a while. I get it. That's fine. But ideally, you want to be doing a job that is going to lead to your career, the thing that you want to do. If you have some way of moving from here to here, then that is a major benefit to you. So try and get your job to be moving you towards your career. Now, if you're already in the right career, you're in the place that you want to do, is the current occupation within that, the current job that you're doing in your career, a good stepping stone to the next one, or do you need to go to something different? And that might be working with a different company or taking a slightly different role within your company in order to be able to jump up a level. Sometimes you've got to go sideways in order to be able to move up. But this you need to consider. Where are you at in terms of your career and in terms of your career goals? What's it going to take to get from here to the next step? Do you have a plan in place for that? If not, maybe you need to. Think about it. What does that look like? What could it possibly look like? If you're not sure, go and talk to someone. Otherwise, you join us within my coaching program. We help you work towards that. Now let's go one step further. Now we're going to talk about your mission. Now you may have a job that is leading you to the career that you want, and that career that you want might also be part of your mission. If that is possible, then you are winning at life. You have the secret recipe. Now, this is very much referred to as ikigai in the Japanese world. They came up with the term. And it's a place where the opportunity for you to use your skills to do something that the world needs that can pay you well and something else, mate. There's 4 different things. I can't remember, but basically it's putting your purpose together. So If these things lead to this, that's great. But sometimes you're going to find that your mission is something that you have to do outside your job. Maybe you have to do a job and your mission is just something that you do on the side. Maybe your mission is just to be a family man, a good father, a good parent, a good husband, a good partner, a good whatever. Okay? That might be your mission in life, and that's fine. But maybe you've got a bigger mission. Maybe you want to be an astronaut. Maybe you want to provide drinking water to millions of people. Maybe you want to feed the hungry. It could be whatever. If you can identify what this thing is, then that alone will change your life dramatically. Now, a lot of identifying your mission will come back to your spiritual health, your relationship with you, and the things that you want to see out of your life. Now, for me, I know what my mission is. I'm at a point now where I have my job, my career, and my mission aligned. I'm doing the thing that I want to do, the way that I want to do it. But it took me years to get there. In fact, to get to this point, I had to start on a completely different place. I was a personal trainer. That was the thing that I really wanted to do. But that just led me on to all of the different other elements, which is where I'm at right now. Like, I started with personal training. I was doing the fitness side of things. I realized people needed nutrition, so I had to go and study that. I then realized that people needed rehabilitation, physical rehabilitation, so I had to go and work on that. And then I had to find that a lot of them had health issues, so I had to learn about health coaching. And then I had to learn about this side of thing, the psychological side of thing, as in why people want to do or don't want to do what they want to do. And then I'm like, oh, hang on, finances. A lot of people want to do these things, but they're limited by their finances and they can't do those things. So how can we help them with finances? I became a financial planner, so I could learn all of those skills. Spirituality is all part of the journey as well. I had to keep going deep with that for myself, from where I was brought up and what I was learnt as a young child and brought up with. I had to challenge my own beliefs, and then I had to get to a point where I decided who I am and what I truly believe. And then I have to make my relationships better, work on that. I was the shyest kid in my school. I was not good at all of these things. Sure, I seemed to fit in okay with my family, but the older I get, the harder it was. When I got really sick, I found it really difficult to spend time with them. The more I could spend time with them, the better the relationships got. So I had to keep on reaching out. I've had to work so hard on my communication skills in order to be able to talk, because I didn't want to talk to anyone. It was in my yearbook. Something about the art of sarcasm and not saying anything. That was me. But I didn't want to be that person, so I've worked tirelessly to try and get better and better at that. And the better my communication skills get, the better everything else gets in my life. Now, I'm at this point here where I know what I'm talking about. I'm able to communicate clearly what I want to do. I know the ins and outs of my mission. But it took a long time to work through jobs that I didn't really want to do in order to either build up finances or health or whatever other resources. Sometimes I had to do jobs that were a stepping stone to get to the next place in my career. And to finally get to that point where it's all aligned, that took probably the biggest effort of all. But it's totally worth it, because I wake up and I'm excited about what I'm going to do with my day. And that in itself makes life so much better, because then you're living the life you love. Then you're happy to get out of bed. You're ready to jump out of bed in the morning and get on with your day. So let's move it on from there. The next step we're looking at is your hobbies and your fun. Why do we look at that? Because it so often gets just pushed to the side when you're in survival mode. You don't have a lot of anything for this. You very likely have not enough time, not enough energy, not enough money, and probably not enough companionship. That's what these 4 things are down here anyway, if you wondered. You might not have the time to be able to go and do the things you used to do because you're so busy just trying to survive life. You might not have the energy to go and do these things after work because you're so exhausted. Your physical capacity is no longer there. You may not have the money left over to be able to go and do those things that you used to do, you used to find fun, or you want to go and do in the future. And you might find that you don't want to go and do those things by yourself anymore. Maybe you are so tired of just pushing to survive that you need that extra support there. The paradox of this is the more time you go and put over here, the more you get energy from other people, the more you get the companionship from those people that are going and doing those things. Those things bring your energy up, which allow you to go and earn more money, which allow you to have more time in your life. So you've got to bring these things back, even if it's just in a small bit. And the biggest thing about this is that you have something to look forward to every week. Because if you have something to look forward to, people to look forward to seeing, you are more likely to want to get out of bed. I am so psyched about some of the things in my life. I will play beach volleyball on a Sunday morning, and it is the best day. It is something I look forward to so much. We just finished our last volleyball of the season last weekend because it's starting to get wintry over here, so it's getting cold, it's getting rainy, and getting really windy. So playing beach volleyball outside in the morning is really not going to work anymore. And that's a bit sad because that was the number one thing that I would look forward to every week. And I was absolutely psyched up. Sunday was the best day. I would wake up on Monday morning, I'll still be psyched from it. Now I have other hobbies that I do, other things that are fun in my life, and I make sure that they are there every week. So I've got something to look forward to, because then I can look forward to doing the thing and being with my friends. I can look forward to laughing my head off. And laughing is one of those things that gets neglected all the time. Because the more you laugh, the more you're enjoying life. Laughing just gets rid of stress. It dissipates stress. Being around your friends gets rid of stress. Being silly and being stupid and having a good laugh is absolute medicine. It helps with your physical health. It helps with your mental health. It helps so many different things. So make sure you're getting some hobbies and fun in your life, even if it's in tiny little doses. And now I totally understand that at times this is not going to feel like fun anymore. You might get to a point where you go back and try these things, but you are so tired, exhausted, depressed, whatever, that it doesn't feel like fun. Just show up. It gets better. It will come back. It will help break you out of the funk, but it might take 3 or 4 times to get you to that point where it pulls you back up to you enjoying it again. And then that builds, it builds, it builds. Key area or key point is just show up. Doesn't matter if you got nothing in the tank, doesn't matter if you're in a bad mood or whatever, just show up. This will make everything better. Finally, we go on to lifestyle and quality of life. This is the sum of everything else we have already gone through. Your physical health, your mental and emotional, finances, spiritual, your relationship with your inner circle, your relationship with your community and improving your social skills, your job, career, mission, your hobbies and fun, all of these things. When you work on them and you figure out where you're at, what you want to do, how you're going to get to those places, leads you to an improved lifestyle and quality of life. When you get to this, and this is an ever-growing thing, this is where you're really starting to plan it out in detail. This is lifestyle by design. Now, the cool thing is, as you go through this course, you already decide on what you want to do physically, and that there impacts your lifestyle and your quality of life. As you get your mental and emotional health improved, that improves your lifestyle and quality of life. So you don't have to just focus on this right at the end. This gets focused on, but you can pull all the information from these things as you go. So I set this up in a 12-week program where we work on each of these things 1 week at a time, individually. But you work on your physical health, and as that improves, that impacts your lifestyle and your quality of life. You work on your mental and emotional health, and that improves your lifestyle and your quality of life. So every week, you are feeding your lifestyle and quality of life as you get better, as you address certain things. This keeps getting better and better and better every single week. And it doesn't just get better every single week for the 12 weeks of the program. It gets better every single week that you work on it. You continue to work on your physical health, this continues to get better. You continue to work on your finances and your plan towards your future, this gets better. You improve the relationships with your inner circle, this gets better. That's how powerful this is. But you can't skip a step because all of these things are interrelated. Every single one can relate back to the next one. And that's one of the things that I learned over many, many years going through this process. Not just going through the process, but going through the process of coaching. I've been coaching people for 23 years as a personal trainer. And as I said, I then had to spread out my coaching to include all of these other things because they all impact every single one of us. I've gone through the gauntlet of my own health. 16 years dealing with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, Lyme disease, major gut issues with fungus and parasites, major toxicity problems in my system, all sorts of things. I was the shyest kid in my school. I am not the shyest kid anymore. I had super low confidence. I don't have low confidence. I had no discipline and I hated school. I'm a massive nerd and I'm more disciplined than anybody. And guess what? This keeps getting better because I keep focusing on improving these things as I go, and you can do exactly the same thing. Now, it doesn't take much. Remember, this is your blueprint. Imagine if every week you just chose to work on one of these things. You could do this yourself every week. Just go, all right, well, this week I'm going to work on my physical health. I'm going to work on trying to make something better. I'm going to make my diet a little bit better. I'm going to do some exercise every single day. I'm going to make sure I do some form of movement so that I am stretching and loosening up my body and getting all the pumps working so that I feel more energized. The next week, maybe you work on your mental health. Just like I said, you stop and you spend some time listening to your negative thoughts rather than silencing them with addictions. You might want to just go, Netflix, YouTube, scrolling, whatever it is. Stop that, go straight over and just spend some time with your own thoughts, listening to where you're at so you can address that and get over that. You can get better and get on with your life. If your finances are not in order, maybe it's time to read a book or do some study on finances. Maybe you want to look at what the best way is for you to be able to secure your financial future. Maybe it is trying to find a way to be able to earn a few dollars on the side so you can build up your funds so that you can work on whatever the next thing is. Maybe that's a side business, or maybe that is just going and working some more hours somewhere, whatever it is. Maybe you need to go and spend some time in nature so you can really get comfortable being with yourself, thinking about what's important to you in your life and what you want out of life. Go and contact your family and friends the next week. Maybe it's contact one of them every single week for the next few weeks. Your inner circle, maybe you don't contact them as much as you'd like to. You could contact somebody every single day, someone different every single day for a week. And that alone will impact your life. Whether it's on the phone or sending a message, doesn't matter. Just getting in contact is going to make things better. If you can improve your communication skills and just say hi to people, just smile at people when you're out in the community, that alone makes you feel better, makes the other person feel better. It improves everything. Just like a smile can make someone's day. You can make someone's day just by saying hi, just by paying somebody a compliment. Maybe the next week you're going to be looking at your job, your career, your mission, where you're at, what you need to do next, where you want to go, what you want to do. Maybe the next week you want to go and work on this. Trying to get back to something that you used to do or start something you've always wanted to do. And finally, maybe you're thinking about this. Maybe you're thinking about this constantly, trying to make this better. Especially if you're in survival mode, thinking about this point and trying to make it better. That is the sum of everything we are aiming for. Once we can get the lifestyle and quality of your life up to the point that you want, guess what? You end up with the life you love. And that's what it's all about. Now, I hope this plan has been beneficial for you to be able to think about what it's like for you to be able to reduce your stress, improve your energy, and improve the quality of your life and your lifestyle. Because if you take what is here and apply it, you are going to get a massive, massive improvement into your life. Absolutely. There is no ifs, buts, or maybes. You plug this into your life and things will get better. So I've given you the basic outline. There is so much more inside my community. So if you click the link in the video below, you can join the community, and I have heaps of free resources for you there on your mindset, or your health optimization, on your business. Go in there, work through the free resources, and if you need help, just ask. And as I said, I've got plenty of different programs in there to help you work through things. So if you really need a massive interrupt in your system, my 12-week program is probably what you need to be able to really get you to this point. The quality of life, the lifestyle that you want, living a life you love. Hope this has helped. Talk to you again soon.